If we don't do something, it's got a 9% approval rating, and that's actually on its best day, really. I mean, and if we don't do something now to fix it, I know you folks, most of you have children, most of you have grandchildren, we're not going to have much of a future, and that's why I decided to run for Congress. I wanted to, I wanted to tell you how I feel about Medicare. I think it's Medicare and Social Security. Well, let me back up. We're under attack right now. We are under attack. Senior citizens are being lied to. Okay. Mr. Marino, my opponent, has voted twice. This is all you need to know about Tom Marino, to take away the Medicare guarantee and replace it with a coupon system. And the independent studies say that if that happens, senior citizens, not only are they going to have to go out onto an open market, and I can tell you what that's like, having had my wife lose health insurance and try to replace it, okay? And I know how to read an insurance policy, okay? So to go out on the open market, have to buy their own health insurance, and the estimate is, independent estimates, that will cost them an average of $6,000 a year out of their own pocket, okay? Voted to threaten Social Security, Candidate Marino, back in 2010, is quoted as saying, "I don't see Social Security remaining in my lifetime." I'm paraphrasing, but he said this on WKOK radio. "Nor do I see it as viable for future generations." And I'm one to say, I'm here to protect Social Security. I don't think you don't screw around with benefits that people have paid a lifetime to receive. He has voted in 2011 to take away funding for education. Young lady here knows what I'm talking about. Both at a primary, secondary, and higher education level. As an example, they want to cut Pell Grants in half. Okay? They want to make it difficult for kids to get student loans, to get affordable student loans.
But they can just borrow it from their parents.
But they can borrow it from their parents. Just to digress on that. And so, you know, I listened to the Tea Party people, and they talk about, you know what, in fact, I'm the opening act for President Obama and Mitt Romney tonight, I know, so we'll make it brief, but, you know, they talk, Mitt Romney talks about, oh yeah, we're a charitable people. Everything's going to be fine. But you know what, when I go around and I talk to people in the district, they don't want charity. They want opportunity. Now, I talk to single...
You don't want to be grateful. That's the trouble with charity, is then you have to be grateful. It's Social Security, you're entitled to it, and you don't have to be grateful to anybody.
Amen to that. And so education, infrastructure investment. I mean, if you drive around these roads here in Pennsylvania, roads, bridges, tunnels, we don't have an infrastructure policy here. So, and everybody knows on both sides of the aisle, we invest in infrastructure, that creates jobs, it stimulates the economy not only in the short term, but in the long term. But we're not, you know, this is what this budget would do. But what is really encouraging me, again, is, and I'm a business person, I'm not a politician, it's the first time I've run for office, we're really encouraged in terms of it's sad, but in terms of the opportunity that we have, is that Tom Marino voted to take away funding for the largest employer in his own district, the depot at Tobyhanna, which is in Monroe County. That's far away from here, about as far as you could go. But that depot is recognized as a depot that is important for national security. It's been there since for 60 years. It represents 5,000 jobs, an estimated $10 billion to the economy in northeastern Pennsylvania, and Marino votes to take funding away. And then, you know, he never really explained it. We forced him onto the radio finally, and he said, well, you know what, yeah, I knew that there was an error in the accounting, and we figured it would have gotten resolved in the Senate or in committee. I don't know, if you look at Congress now, you think that, you know, was that a good bet at the end of the day? So, but how do you vote to take sustaining jobs away from your own district? You know, it's got Republicans, Independents, Democrats scratching their head. But there's more. How do you leave Congress as my opponent did, how do you leave Congress a few weeks back without extending a farm bill? So we're out there, we're talking to farmers, particularly dairy farmers, who are upset. They've got every right to be. Right now, there's no farm bill. Okay, farming has been an engine of the economy in the country, certainly in Pennsylvania, particularly dairy farming, for hundreds of years. So we've got around the district, and we're out there not making big promises, just saying, you know what, I'm going to do what I've done all my life, be available and accessible. That's something Tom Marino hasn't been, available and accessible. Meeting with moderate people, not the Tea Party wackos, you know, who are saying to me, women particularly, are saying, you know, we feel that we've been outsourced by our own party. Okay, we have nowhere to go. So we like the idea of your background as a problem solver, a troubleshooter, family person who's gone through the difficulties that many, many people in the country have gone through. And we're gonna support you. So I'm encouraged by that. Now we've asked, I want to tell you that I've come out with a jobs plan. You know, it's one thing to complain and criticize. But, you know, as I like to say, that I would rather light a candle than curse the darkness. I didn't make that one up. I didn't make that. So we come out with a job plan, and essentially the components are Made in America tax break, simplify the tax code, reduce regulation. Okay, not all regulation, you need some, but the Small Business Administration has estimated that regulation is a $1.75 trillion, I gotta get my trillions and make sure my numbers are right, $1.75 trillion drag on the economy. There's tons. I worked with FEMA last summer, helping senior citizens to get their Hurricane Irene claims processed. I can tell you there is a tremendous amount of waste in government agencies. I would look at that on a line-by-line basis without touching job one. And there's plenty of savings there. I think what's true in business is also true in government. So, the jobs plan. Made in America tax break, simplify the tax code, reduce regulation, extend the federal research and development tax credits, particularly in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Our kids that are coming out of school, they have nowhere to go except for the oil and gas industry. And I think that's a shame. Okay, and so I'm sure you understand that as well, right? But it's those so-called STEM fields, because we need to prepare kids not only for working in the United States of America, but for working in the global economy. Okay, and we need to crack down on companies that outsource jobs to other countries. Okay, that are manipulating our currency and are relying on sweatshop labor like China. And we're not doing it right now. We're not doing it right now. So we've also come out with a government reform plan, which is, you know what? The little guy is getting squeezed out by big money, lobbyists, corporate interests. Okay? Those lobbyists need to be fully disclosed, and they need to be in line for access to their government representatives just like everybody else, okay? And when lawmakers are looking for funding, that request for funding has got to be under the light of day, okay? It's got to be online and it's got to be immediate, okay? So what I'm saying is we need sunshine in government, okay? Now, we've come out of nowhere, literally. We came out of nowhere. No one thought we had a chance. But we've now polled competitively with Mr. Marino. He didn't think he had an opponent. Certainly wasn't acknowledging us. Toby Hanna and the farmers have seen to the fact that Tom Marino is now fully aware that he's got an opponent. He seems to be upset. You know, he's saying, you know what, we should be allowed to sue people who disagree with us. We should be, well, just what we need, Tom. I mean, I'm not an attorney. Just what we need, Tom. More litigation, you know. So, we've raised enough money, I'd like to say, from individual contributions. Tom Marino's gotten more than half of his money from PACs. And we actually beat him onto television with our own ad, senior citizens, talking about Medicare, talking about Social Security. He's responded in a, I mean, I'd like to say that I'm surprised. I'm really not, but he's responded in a very unkind way, although I must say I do like the way I look in a tank top. But you know, so he's gone negative on us. All we need to do now is raise enough money to restore our television ad and work towards the debate, which is on October 30th. On WVIA, it's going to be publicly televised, and I'll bring back a Congressman, candidate Marino asked Congressman Carney for multiple debates in 2010. And Congressman Carney said, no, you're only getting one, to which candidate Marino said, sorry for my back, to which candidate Marino said, that's shameful. Well, fast forward to 2012, candidate Scollo asked Congressman Marino for multiple debates. He says you're only getting one. So it was shameful in 2010, but it's fully acceptable now. So again, this is the congressman. We've had a lack of representation. Seniors are being assaulted. Veterans are being assaulted. Women are being assaulted. Kids are being assaulted. When does it stop at the end of the day? When does it stop? This law that says corporations have the same rights as individuals, it's a disgrace. And it's a passion of mine to work with others, independently minded, to get a constitutional amendment to get Citizens United overturned. So I'll say thank you very much for having me. I'm happy to field any questions that you might have. This is my second time out in Wellsboro. It's we've spent the week here actually on the western part of the district, Sunbury, Williamsport, which is Marino's backyard. And so we're out. We're going to be here. We're not going away. Tom Marino, we're not going away. So it's going to be very interesting. We think we have a decent chance now to come out. Thank you so much for your support. We need help. We need volunteers. We need money. And so Mike Myers back there is working with me. Mike he's not the Mike Myers from the Halloween movie. Though he scares me sometimes, I will say that. Nor is he the Austin Powers Mike Myers. But Mike can sign you up. Just see him after the event. And so I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you so much for having me, young lady.